Welcome to another edition of the Insightful Living channel, where myself, Stephen Harvey, just comes on here just to share and expound on challenges that I see that come up often and continuously in my work as a therapist. I'm a licensed therapist. You can look me up on Psychology Today. You can look me up on helptoadjust.com, which is the agency that I work with and am the clinical director of. Okay? Today, I want to expound on how to survive adolescence. So this episode right here is really for the youth. Okay, my background is I used to be a teacher and a dean and also a youth development coordinator for the New York City Department of Education for about 11 years. Worked in Far Rockaway, New York, PSMS 183, PSMS 42 in Far Rockaway, worked at Middle School 72 in Southside Jamaica, Queens, worked at Pelham Lab High School in the Bronx, and just kind of, moved around until I resigned. Just wanted to do things on my own accord, right? Now, how to survive adolescence, especially, okay, if you're growing up in what we call the hood, right? The hood is an environment where, unfortunately, the culture is that of violence, criminal behavior, just a lot of hyper-aggression, all right? That pretty much stems from, economic deprivation, all right? And a lot of miseducation, right? But that's a different discussion as to the why, all right? But what we call the ghetto or the hood, or but so that's included, right? This video is not only for adolescents coming up in that environment, but it includes adolescents coming up in that type of environment, right? Now, if you're an adolescent just coming up, in a pretty calm environment, a pretty progressive environment where you don't really deal with the challenges of peer pressure and violence, but maybe there is more pressure on who has what, and maybe the pressure is about, achieving on a certain level in school because your peers are just super high achievers, and that pressure is there to get straight A's all the time, and you got to always make sure that you have the best of the best because people around you have the best of the best. It's just this constant pressure to meet a certain standard of life, right? If you're in, say, maybe a wealthy, affluent neighborhood. Okay, so I'm going to just really look to sum this up, all right, as best as I can. Now, me personally, all right, I grew up in an environment that was closer to that of what may be referred to as the ghetto, all right, to be honest, all right? And when I was coming up, and then versus even my career teaching and being a dean, I saw a lot of similarities because obviously I came up in the 90s. I was in high school in the 90s, 94 to 98. And my teaching career was more in like the 2000s, right? 2003 to 2015 is when I ended my career or resigned, right? So now I saw a lot of similarities. So check this out. We're talking about surviving adolescence. If you're a parent and you have a child that is 14, 15, all the way to 18, let them watch this, all right? Now, I am 44. Your child may be 17, 16, 15. Now, the same things that were going on when I was in high school, in middle school, the same things that drive the social peer group culture is probably the same thing that's driving the social peer group culture right now, today in 2024. Let me put it to the test. When I was growing up, the things that drove the social peer group culture was basically four things. And I tested this because back in 2019, I ran a summer high school group, and I put this out there. Matter of fact, every young peer group that I have mentored or that I have taught as an adult, When I put these 4 things out there, they all agreed. They said, you know what, Mr. Harvey, it's still like that. All right. And then I'm going to expound on how to navigate those. So number 1, typically, this is just generally speaking, one of the things that drive the social peer group culture, okay, is clothing or dressing or name brand clothing. It is what it is. As an adolescent, a lot of the social peer group status is based on your dress, your fashion. That's big, okay? Your status is quote unquote up or down depending a lot upon your fashion. All right. Number 2, relationships. Who knows who? Who's going out with who? You know, girlfriend, boyfriend, who's maybe having sex with who? All right. You know, your popularity. All right. That has a lot to do with your status as an adolescent. Your popularity, your relationships, who's cool with you, who's not cool with you. All right. Maybe who you're in relationship with, right? Who your girlfriend, boyfriend is, things of that sort. You know, sometimes, unfortunately, how much people you slept with, who you slept with. These things affect your status and your level of respect, okay, when you're adolescent, all right? The third thing is, unfortunately, violence. A lot of times, especially, like I said, if you're coming up in a ghetto environment, violence. How violent you are, more often than not, it definitely affects your social status. If you're someone who could fight, you're very aggressive, a lot of times your status goes up. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Guys respect you. Sometimes, the young ladies, they respect you, right? And it goes on both sides, right? If you're a girl, girls respect you, so a lot of times violence is another thing, all right? So we're talking about your dressing, your relationships, okay, violence, all right, and that pretty much sums it up. So it's not even 4, it's 3. Those are the main things. Those are the main things that kind of drive the peer group social structure, right? Just your physical, how well you can maybe physically impose yourself on others. That's like the violence, maybe bullying piece or what have you, right? Relationships. Kind of like popularity, who you know, who knows you, who you with romantically, all right? And fashion, okay? Now, what I want you adolescents to know, all right, is Mr. Harvey I navigated through that. And I just want you all to know that you have to, matter of fact, I'm going to ask you a question. So those 3 things, not 4, but those 3 things pretty much drives the status of the peer group from middle school through high school. But then guess what? After high school, after you graduate at somewhere around age 18, that's done. It switches. Those 3 things that I just mentioned no longer play a major role in your status amongst your peers. It switches. Those things are thrown out in the trash. What do you think is the number 1 main thing that now drives your status amongst your peer group after high school, 18 and beyond? Those 3 things are trashed, and it's switched with one thing. It's switched out. What does it switch out to? And this one thing is going to remain consistent pretty much throughout the rest of your life. What do you think it is before I go into it? All right, think about that. All right, because what happens is a lot of adolescents, they go super hard to raise their status based on these 3 things, right? Their relationships, their popularity, who they're with, maybe romantically, right? Maybe, violence or fashion, okay? They just want to, really show out in these ways, okay? And they go so hard that they forget about preparing themselves for the one thing that's going to determine their status after high school. I get it. We want to be cool. We may want to dress nice. We want to have good relationships. We may, obviously want to be able to defend ourselves, and we want to have a nice status. I get it. I'm not saying just totally do away with that, but don't go so hard over these three things in your social status in middle school and high school to where you just totally ignore, you just totally forfeit your opportunity to prepare yourself for after high school. So after high school, it all comes down to your economic status, your social economic status, right? Your money-making ability, to be frank with you. Okay? So let's say we have the person who maybe no one really respected them, no one really thought they were cool, maybe they got picked on a little bit, maybe the girls didn't like them or the boys didn't like her, and maybe they didn't, they just, the dress wasn't there, maybe they had no status throughout middle school and high school, but then after high school, they started running their own company, doing very well for themselves financially. Now it's changed. That individual now has the respect. That individual, amongst their peer group, now people want to know you. People want to now be in your good graces. Because after high school, that's when real life hits, right? That's like you're kind of now on the cusp of being into a situation where you got to put your own roof over your head. You have to feed yourself. You have to clothe yourself. So now all of the antics that you were doing in high school, that you didn't have to really worry about certain responsibilities, so you can just kind of move through life carefree, hanging out. I'm cool. I don't have a care in the world. I'm dressing fly. I'm talking fly. I got the young ladies, or if you're a girl, I got the guy. You just out and you just this, social polarizing figure. Okay? You don't have any care about responsibility, so it's cool. But then what happens when after high school, it's like, okay, now it's time to take a skill set, present it to the marketplace to get paid for it so that you can get your own place, right? Feed yourself, clothe yourself, because now it's not cool anymore when you're 19, 20 plus and you're still at your parents' house, still under your parents' rules. It's kind of hard to be super fly on the street or outside when you're still under the jurisdiction of your parents. Kind of difficult to be super fly and say maybe now you can't afford to keep that same fashion up, from your clothes to your car to your home. Kind of difficult. So you don't want to be like that. You don't want to go so hard for those three areas, maybe to where you just go super hard to where you just dedicate your whole high school career to fighting and increasing your status as a fighter, to where now when it's time to get out here and make your own way, you don't really have any skills, right? All of that status just goes out the window. Like, you cannot come out here into the marketplace, into the economy, into the world and say, hey, I knocked out X amount of people. I had sex with X amount of people, all right? Hey, I was the flyest, I was most popular. Hey, this is what I used to wear, my gold chains or my this or my that. Nobody cares about that. That's done. It's over. Now it's about what skills do you have that are going to generate money. That's it. What skill or skills do you have that's going to generate money? That is what largely determines your social status after high school. So when you talk about how to survive adolescence, you got to keep your mind on that. So while you're in high school, you got to keep your eye. You got to keep one eye on the current. Like I said, I understand. You want to dress nice. You want to have good relationships and, have a nice social, have some good social peer relationships and things of that nature. I get it. You may want to have your girlfriend, your boyfriend here and there and, be cool. I get it. Do that. However, so have one eye on that, so to speak, but then have another eye on preparing yourself for after high school. So you got to have a dual focus. Don't be so focused on your high school status and showing out in high school that now when high school is over, you are ill-equipped. You're unprepared. So now that girl you was with, that guy you were with, you're kind of like, for lack of better words, bum status now. Because it's like, yeah, in high school that was cool, but now that it's time to get our own place, feed ourselves, clothe ourselves, maybe, prepare to raise a family, you can't produce because you spent your whole high school career fighting, dressing, and just doing things for popularity. Get it? So the way to survive adolescence is your mental focus has to remain on the end goal. Just by you having that mental focus of knowing that, hey, I need to prepare myself for after this phase. High school, once it's over, it's over. You're probably not even going to see a lot of these people ever again in your life. It's over. Okay? All of these relationships, all of the, maybe these rumors that started. Maybe your status is super high. Maybe your status is super low. I don't know. Maybe everybody in school loving you. You the man, you the woman, whatever. You look the best. Or maybe you don't. Nobody's checking for you, joking on you, clowning on you, whatever it is. Whatever it is, once high school is over, all of that is over. You can be the person that was joked on in high school, but now, after high school, you are very successful in business. You think these people now want to still joke on you? Absolutely not. They want to be your friends now. They might even want to work for you. They want to be connected to you now. They don't care about that. This guy, this woman, they making money. They doing well. You know what? I need some help. No one cares about that anymore. Same thing, you flip it, right? Someone who maybe had all this respect in high school, they were the coolest, they were the toughest, they were the flyest, whatever it may be. Now after high school, when real life responsibilities hit, no one is checking for anyone like that. All right? Oh, you had the girls in high school. Oh, you had all the boys in high school. Oh, you dressed the best. What does that amount for? What does it count for after high school? It counts for nothing. So the way you stay focused and survive adolescence is you have to stay focused on preparing yourself for after high school. Don't get so sucked in. Don't get so caught up in those adolescent years, in the here and now, where you don't prepare yourself for afterwards. Yeah, if you're a guy, you may, look handsome, you may dress nice, talk slick, get all the girls in high school, but then afterwards, a lot of young ladies, at least a lot of responsible, smart, sharp young ladies, that's not going to cut it anymore. Just looking good, dressing good, and talking slick. They want to know if they were to procreate with you, you are mature and responsible and able to provide for a family. Now, yes, young ladies are probably not thinking about that in high school. Just looking good, dressing good, and talking slick, that's probably enough in high school. But after high school, it's not. Make sense? So I just want you all to know that distinction. So this is maybe for my parents. You can maybe have this discussion with your children. Maybe let them watch this video. I know sometimes children get a deaf ear to the same parental voice. So maybe let them watch this video. Okay? All right? So you survive adolescence by not dedicating your whole existence to your high school status, to your high school social position. I'm not saying ignore it. You can put some time and effort into your social status in high school. You may have to fight a few times. Bullying is a real thing. Okay? Yes, look nice, dress. Go ahead. But don't dedicate your whole high school career to to it. That's all it is about you, is that you're just a nice dresser. But outside of your clothes, there's no value there. All right? Outside of maybe your looks and, your having a gift of gab, as they say, it's no intelligence, no wit, no expertise. Right? No expertise. So stay focused on the aftermath of high school. Do not get so caught up in your high school status that now when high school is over, you don't have anything to work with to get to a point where you can provide adequately for yourself and possibly your family. Just by having that mental focus alone will help you make better decisions while in high school. You will now be able to refrain from making certain decisions in high school that may mess up your future. Why? Because you're focused on the future. But certain children that are not focused on the future and everything is all about the here and now and what they, that whole high school phase, they may do certain things that may negatively affect them for the rest of their lives because they wasn't thinking about that. Get it? Okay? That's just a basic framework of how to survive adolescence. There were times where I was presented with opportunities to do certain things that were legal, and I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, guys could laugh, make jokes all they want, but I have my eyes on the bigger picture. Okay? I literally had guys that I had confrontations with in middle school and high school that literally ended up begging me for money as an adult. So what I'm trying to say is things turn around. Okay? Literally had guys that, bullied me certain times, right? Coming up young, that ended up, I don't even know if they recognized me, but as a grown man, they showed me a whole bunch of respect when I saw them. I don't even know if they recognized that I was the same one that they bullied back in middle school. So things change, right? Keep your eyes on the aftermath of high school. Don't get so caught up in that phase. That phase is done, over. You're not going to see any of these people ever again, probably. Now it's about, what do you know? What skills do you have to make some money? Okay? Focus on that. This is Mr. Harvey. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Insightful Living channel. And I'll be back with more relevant topics for you. Take care. I love you. Peace.